Welcome to the Healing with Love Summit. Step into a world where we choose to move with kindness, love, and acceptance for our neighbors on this planet, no matter their perceived differences. Choose to listen with an open heart. Choose to come from a place of learning and sharing. Welcome. I'm Larissa Russell of Creative You Healing, and I now have with me Sarah Pickering. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you very much. It's fun to be here. I don't know what I have to say, but it's fun to be here.
Well, we're going to start with tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I am a what am I? I could start with I'm a person. Mm-hmm. I'm a visual artist. I like that first because that's what I love rather than what I do. So I'm a visual artist and I create for fun and not much for money, but occasionally for money also. And I create for life, mostly just because I need it. To make money, I am a pastor of a church. I co-pastor with somebody else. And yeah, I've been doing that for 15 years, which feels like a lifetime. Probably a couple of lifetimes, honestly. Yeah, and I'm a chronically ill person. I've been ill for 9 years, which is long. I guess that's what chronic means. It's just on and on and on. It's an energy limiting chronic illness, which just means my days are much shorter than your average person. So I'm almost done by lunchtime. So you've got me at a good time of day. I'm single, never been married, never wanted to be.
That's fair.
And happy to be so.
Regardless of whether or not people try to fix you up with other people.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they've given up on that now. There was a stage where everybody and his dog was trying to set me up with somebody. And I was just like, please, everybody just stop. And finally, I think everybody in my life has got the message and just stopped. So hallelujah for that.
Right. That way you can just be a little bit a part of everybody's life and you don't have to limit yourself to one.
Exactly. I like that. That's a fun way of looking at it. Yes, I get to be part of lots of different people's lives, and never had any children, and so I get to be part of lots of children's lives too, which is very fun. Yes. I get to be the auntie.
You're a great auntie. I've seen all the fun things that you do. You're a great auntie. Well, I'm going to dive right in because you know how I feel about organized religion. And,
I'm sorry. I hope I've changed some of your thoughts about that over time.
Yes, I think you have. As someone who has experienced the negative aspects of organized religion, I studied through many churches. I would spend a year or more in a church just trying to find my way, and found none that resonated with me. And
well done for doing a year.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's determination.
Immersed myself.
Most people make a decision on one Sunday.
No, I'm like, I need to give this a try. But the more I questioned, the more I was like, oh, nope, this isn't working. So as a pastor, and I know your church is completely different than, I mean, I've even listened to some of your sermons online and things because we are in different provinces. Can you tell us a little bit about why your church is different?
Our church is good at asking questions. And we are not afraid of them. We have a spot at the end of the morning, every morning, whether we're online or in person, called question and response, because we know we have no answers or we don't have the answer, but we have lots of questions. And I love that it's question and response, not question and answer. So questions are very welcome and present. And I think that's part of not having the certainty piece, not having the this is what you have to believe and this is the line and this is the thing. We don't have that. We just have hey, you're welcome because you're welcome. Bring all your questions, because actually it just kind of enhances all of us and enriches the whole experience for everybody. There's no one voice. Even the fact that I co-pastor, I guess that's one thing that makes us different. I mean, there are many things that make us different, but one thing that makes us different is that we are led currently by 2 women, which is different. for the North American model, which is mainly male, mainly one person. Like it's different to have a co-pastoring situation because it's not then one voice that has the lead. We share it, so that makes us different. We are an affirming church, which also makes us different. People around town are like, oh, go to the bridge. Yeah. And that is, yeah, that's their whole summation of the thing is, oh, you guys are out there.
You're out there
So
loving everyone.
Yeah, loving everybody. So affirming, I should have had our statement. I could maybe read it to you, or maybe could attach it, our statement of affirmation. We went through a process a couple of years ago. We were affirming, inclusive and everything. Prior to this decision we made, or decision to make it obvious and explicit, we had been that way anyway. We just went through the process of just making sure everybody knew this is where we are, and here's the explicit explanation of what we're doing. So we're affirming. I'll give you a link to the statement of affirmation because it kind of then lays out the whole thing. It just means you're welcome here, whoever you are, whoever you love, in whatever way you do that.
And you really have opened your doors to everyone, to be all the ones that have been rejected from every other church. That's a big thing with your church.
Yeah, I mean, my process was the whole thing was that we had to just be a place that said no more hurt in this area, like stop it, and just provide a space that was gonna just be accepting and just be loving and just be willing to then have everybody bring all of their gifts and their talents and skills and personhood to the table. And if our table's in the wrong place, then we'll just pick up the table and we'll move it. Right? Yeah. And everybody shuffle along and make some space because, yeah. Or if we realize we're actually at the wrong table, we'll just go move tables because that one looks more fun. There's a party over there.
I love that because I think that is part of the problem that we've seen in organized religion. And I know you and I have talked about this, but we love everyone as long as you're just like us. But again, looking at one aspect, and we are very complex individuals, right? We're very unique. Yes, we have core similarities, but we are very unique individuals. And so to determine that someone's not welcome based on one thing is a bit of a problem in my eyes. And so
I've heard in previous churches, Christian things, come as you are, but don't stay as you are. And I actually hate that expression because it says, come as you are, but we don't accept who you are, so you have to change. Yes. So if we can pause at the come as you are, skip the rest, because that just, it's a judgment and we don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think it just allows, because you talk to other churches as well. So then the communication, the doors are opened to communicate so that maybe other churches can start to think a little bit differently. Yeah. And do you think that you have made an impact on churches in your community?
In our community? Not yet.
Not yet.
I'd like to hope so in time. I think the ease that we had of transitioning is not the right word, but becoming explicitly affirming was easy for us because we're not part of a denomination. We didn't have a huge ship to try and steer. It was actually a relatively small ship, and we did it all through COVID, which meant we could have lots of face-to-face conversations with people. We could have one conversation as a whole group on Zoom rather than having individual conversations happening on the side, which would have made the process a lot longer. So I think we kind of seized the moment of Zoom to make that happen. But I'm sure there are pastors in town who, and all over, who personally feel affirming, personally feel like, living one thing, saying another, are like in this kind of double existence. I struggled with that myself for a long time until we were, explicitly affirming as a church. But I think that they have a harder job because they have this huge organization behind them that then says, you can't be part of us if you think that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they have to decide, do we just take our congregation and go, or do I go? And I think there's a lot of people who are in that situation. I really feel for them. I feel like there's going to be a huge struggle.
Yeah.
With that, and I think it's happening more and more. I think it's this is the season of this evolution in the life of the church. I think we had 500 years ago the Gutenberg Bible and all of that kind of Reformation thing happened, and I think this is maybe another transition that's happening for the churches, but some are just holding on to, but what if we're wrong? What if? And I'm like, what if you're right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get to heaven and God go, well, Sarah, I'm sorry you were too loving. Sorry, Sarah, you included too many people. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not as merciful as you are. I'm like, yeah, no, see, I can't imagine that happening. I can't imagine God going, too loving, too merciful, too inclusive, out with you. Like, what? If this is as loving and as merciful as inclusive as it gets, then we're in trouble. But I think God is much bigger, much more, all in.
Yeah, I love that. I love that messaging that you share. I love that messaging that you share because I think it's so important to come from that place of love. We have enough hate in the world. And if we can just allow people to be who they are, and yes, empower people to better themselves, but not expect them to be somebody different because we want them to be something different. And I think that's really important. And that's why I think your church more than others resonates with me. I still, have some of my own things.
We're still organized religion, and that's
You're
fine.
Still organized religion, but I love the messaging. I love that you open your doors for people, that you give them a space when they may not have that, and now through COVID, you're online, which allows people from other places in the world have joined you because it gives them a safe space to go as well.
Yeah, we have people in South Carolina and Wales and England, and we've had from all over. Like, it's been fun, and across Canada too. There are people who join us from Winnipeg or somewhere near there. And yeah, it's it's a privilege just to be able to open that space and hold it so that anybody can come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to switch gears because your health issues has been a barrier for you as well. And when we think about labels and how we define people and how we judge people, with your limited energy, moving in the world can be very difficult for you. And yet you look very healthy and able-bodied. And have you experienced where people have judged you from how you visually look versus how you actually present?
Yeah, I think like an invisible illness is a challenge because it doesn't show on my body much. I mean, of late, I bought myself a mobility scooter, and so I've been able to go out into the world on wheels, and that has expanded my range no end. Like, I can go into Michael's now and go shopping all the way around and go up and down the aisles and explore everything, rather than just, I need a paintbrush, I'm going to go straight to the paintbrushes, straight to the checkout, back to the car. Or I'll order it online, go do the checkout because I'm not sure I can get to the back of the store today. I'll go and just do the pickup at the door. So Wheels gives me the ability to browse. How I experience judgment? I mean, I think it's hard because, okay, my thing is people say, do you want to? And do you want to do this? And I'm like, absolutely. My head and my heart are 100% yes. My body will probably say no. And that's hard. And people will stop asking. Like, it's been 9 years. And there are occasions when people exclude me without asking. Like, they think, oh, it's probably going to be no, we won't ask. But honestly, I'd much rather be able to say, oh my gosh, I'd love to do that, but I'm sorry, I can't. Or, oh my gosh, I'd love to do that, and I'll let you know on the day, because it may be no. But I'm 100% yes, but it may be no. So I think the stop asking thing has been hard. And I guess that's the judgment of, like, they make the decision for me. It's going to be no, so we won't ask you. I'm like, just ask me. Like, I'm never going to say, do you want a margarita? I'm never going to say yes to that. But, it's nice to be asked.
It's nice to be included.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important what you said about invisible illnesses, because we judge people based on a lot of visual cues, but what we maybe are going through in our own self, the expectations we have of our own self. And then when someone else doesn't match those expectations, we put a story to it. We decide why it is. They don't like us. They don't, whatever it is. When
they're flaky.
They're flaky, yes. And I even did it to my own self for years, right? I would back out of things at the last minute. And so I didn't even know that it was a capacity thing for me. Different reasons, but, mine is the autism and so sensory issues. But when you have a certain capacity and you want to do the things, so you're like, yes, I'm all in. And then at the last minute, you're like, no, I can't. But it's true, like, still ask me, and I would like to be a part of it. I am at that point as well, where I can say, yes, I would love to, but I will let you know closer to the time if it's going to happen. And I think that comes with the understanding, right? If people can just understand that we're not all the same, we can't all do the same things. It's an important part of it.
Yeah. But also the thing of an invisible illness is people look at me and go, but you did that yesterday. It doesn't mean I can do it today. And in fact, probably because I did it yesterday, I can't today.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of it. It's like, yeah, but you look fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless you know me really well, and then there are tells.
Yeah.
Actually, often I don't notice, which is quite weird.
You don't notice until
I have this crazy yawning thing that happens, which means I'm over my limit. Like, just insane yawning. And I often don't notice it's happening, which is what you'd think I would, but no.
It's just like, I think I have that too. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to explore that one. But yes, not noticing. And I think, does that come, do you think, from wanting to be able to do all the things? Is that you just ignore the things that are telling you not to?
Yeah, I do have to limit myself. I mean, part of my illness is that it's called post-exertional malaise, and so it can happen immediately, or it can happen 12 or 24 hours later, sometimes even 2 days later. So there isn't necessarily an obvious, oh my gosh, must lie down now. But there was a moment 24 hours ago where if I'd noticed a subtle clue, I might have stopped and then avoided the crash that happens 24 hours later. But it's a bastard, because you don't know when it's going to happen and you don't know what did it. And so sometimes I can wake up feeling like death. And I'm like, I have to kind of trace back and go, when was the moment when I should have stopped? When did I? But at that point, it's like, I mean, hopefully it's information for next time. But oftentimes it's just like, I don't know. whatever, never mind. Just rest now and try again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rest now, try again tomorrow.
We'll see where we're at tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is it's better if I limit myself and say, okay, I need to check in with myself after 50 minutes, set a timer.
Mm-hmm.
So irritating. But like whatever fun thing it is or life thing it is, I just need to go, okay, can I carry on? Do I have another half hour? My doctor has this thing of just one more is the death knell. Like just one more shop and then I'll go home means don't do the last shop. Because that's one too many. Just one more, or just one more conversation and then I'll leave. Or okay, just another cup of tea and then it's just one more is borrowing from the mob.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's going to come back and bite you.
You have to pay it back with interest.
With interest, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So then how you come from a very loving place, I know this, and also your church and the people around you know this. What are things that people can do to open themselves up to be more, not to be more loving, that's not fair, but to allow themselves to move from a place of love instead of maybe judgment or fear?
Yeah, I think fear is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of different, fear of not like me. I think from a Christian point of view, from a church point of view, I think it's been fear of what if I'm wrong? Fear of hell. Like, what was that about? Like, what? It's been a stick that the church has used to control people with. And I think it's just pointless. Like, I don't know that fear is a good, fear is a good controller, but it's so counterproductive. And I think that that's caused a lot of pain and a lot of digging in. And if love is what it is, then it's much easier. Like, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it absolutely makes sense. And as you know, moving from a place of love, I mean, we all have judgments. It's a safety mechanism we have. We're going to judge a situation, we're going to judge a person, but then being able to step back and go, okay, what am I afraid of? What is it that's causing this to come up? I think is such an important part of it, because often fear is why we act out the way we do.
Yeah.
And so just catching ourselves and allowing ourselves to maybe process what's actually happening, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think if we can call it a kind of safety assessment rather than a judgment, like because we do have to make those kind of judgment calls. We do have to go, okay, this person isn't safe. Mm-hmm. This person isn't safe because they're just going to hate on me, or or worse. That kind of judgment is that's the saber-toothed tiger moment of like, this person's going to bite me. But most people aren't. Mm-hmm. So if we can change that up so that we're not suspicious of everybody, that I think surely that it's got to be a better feeling.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I want to thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome.
Today. And yes, we are here bright and early in the morning because at the best time of day for you. I normally see you at 6 a.m. your time, and
it's 8 a.m. now.
Yes.
Gosh, it's getting late.
A couple hours in. So I don't want to take any more of your precious time.
Thank you very much.
Any final thoughts before we go?
My main thought is that hate's always going to be there, but love should be louder. So if we can make love louder, then let's just do it. Amplify that rather than the hate. That'd be a win, I think. What's worth a try?
Just try it out. See how it works.
See what happens. Yeah, try love on and see what happens. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a bit more love.
I love it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for watching this interview. This interview was part of our Healing with Love Summit, which includes healing practices with each interview. If you're interested in learning more or purchasing the full summit with interviews and healing exercises, click the link below. Remember that it is a choice how we move through this world. Choose love. Love heals.